Back, dear viewers, you're still watching a breakfast show live on Nile TV International. It's now time for a second and final topic of discussion for today. And as we noted in our introduction, we're going to be shedding the light on the last night's match and Al Ahli's victory over Morocco's Raja in the CAF quarterfinals, which was held in Casablanca. The match ended 1-1, and Al Ahli was qualified to meet with Al Wafaq from Algeria in the semi-final. And also last week, Al Ahli defeated Al Raja 2-1, only despite the great performance from the Egyptian Giants. And to shed more light on this topic, we're most delighted to be joined over the phone by Mr. Mohamed Adel, sports critic and analyst. A very good morning, sir, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, it's my honor.
Mr. Mohamed, first of all, if you can just walk us through the formations of both teams, and do you think that Mosimani had a great and successful choice last night?
Well, first of all, we should congratulate for Ahli fans for the qualification for the semi-finals. That's the first point. Second point is Raja Casablanca was playing without, I believe, 3 or 4 main players yesterday. So Rashid Tawsi, the head coach of Raja Casablanca, although these missing, he played with the same formation tactic he used to play with Raja Casablanca. About Tito Mosimani, he began the game with some weird ideas. Before beginning the game, these ideas made the people were thinking about what's happening in the team, about the entrance of Mohamed Tahir, as he's not a main player in the latest games for Ahli. He's not a main player in this squad. But we saw the first half, we saw the leading of Raja Casablanca in the first 5 minutes, and the defensive way of playing that Tito Mosimani began the game with. Al Ahli defeated by a goal, but we know and we saw since the home game last week that there are many differences in the quality of the players for Al Ahli, of course. Because of that, after 5 minutes, Al Ahli led the game. They missed many chances to score in the first half. And in the 44 minutes, Mohamed Abdelmanam scored the draw goal. Before that, Ali Ma'loul missed the penalty kick. So the first half was going as Al Ahli wants to be led. In the second half, and especially in the 55th minute, we saw the most weird substitution for Al Ahli in many years ago, before in Tito Mosimani's era, I believe, by getting Hussein Shahad out, and he was one of the best Ahli players in the last night's game. He did a great game, whether in the home game or in the last night's game, and he entered the Ayman Ashraf. So you return back to the defensive way of playing, and it made Al Ahli being playing in a defensive way versus one of the most easiest teams that you can beat anywhere in Egypt, in Morocco, anywhere. You lost about 35 minutes of leading the game and scored once and twice. Again, you can beat Raja Casablanca yesterday by more than 2 goals, but you lost all that time and Tito Mosimani put the team in a very risky situation because of the defensive way of thinking and defensive way of playing versus Raja. Although Raja has a low or a medium quality players, but you made them lead the game, make many chances to score, had many attempts versus Mohamed Shinawi, the Ahli goalkeeper. But at the end, the game ended 1-1. But I believe if Raja Casablanca scores a goal in these minutes, I believe the total score will be different of what happened last night.
As an expert, Mr. Mohamed, do you believe that Al Ahli's players wasted many chances?
I believe in the first half, they played a good game, especially after receiving a goal, an early goal in the first minute. They did a good game, an offensive game versus a team that you can play with and play against in an offensive way. You can do whatever you want. With all my respect to Raja Casablanca team and fans, but I believe the first half was a way far better than the second half because the way he was thinking of Pizzo Muslimani and the way he was playing with. So in the first half, Al Ahly went to the Raja Casablanca's defensive areas. They got a penalty kick in the 13th minute, but it's being blocked by Ali Mahmoud. The way you can play versus Raja Casablanca, you did well in the first half, better than the second half.
Yes, indeed. Also, Mr. Mohammed, if you can tell us about the performance of Al Ahly last night despite receiving an early goal.
Yes, as I told you, they lead the game after receiving that goal. Al Ahly is lucky because they received that goal in the first minutes of the game. I believe if that goal was in the last minutes of the game, the situation will be very hard for Al Ahly. But when you receive a goal in the first 5 minutes versus a team which is in its equality basis is lower than you, so you can lead the game. And what happened really yesterday in the first half, but you gave Raja Casablanca the leading by yourself. Pizzo Muslimani gave the Raja Casablanca team the leading of the game by himself, and so far we don't know why he did that.
Mr. Mohammed, your expectations for the upcoming match, the semi-final?
Well, it will be very hard. We're talking about the semi-finals. وفاق ستيف bet aspirants or Taraji of Tunisia in Rades Stadium in Tunisia, although the game was without any fans because of some penalties for the aspirants team. But when a team qualifies to the semi-finals, we should put 100% respect for him, especially that the Algerian fans in general and Faqat Steve in specific, they are very eager, they are very strong, they can make some differences, especially if you play. Really, I cannot remember where the home game or the first game will be held. So it will be a very hard game. And when you play in the semi-finals, you should put 100% or more respect versus the team you will face.
Indeed, Mr. Mohamed Adel, sports critic and analyst, we really appreciate your insight, and we're looking forward to the semifinals in the upcoming matches of the CAF, the African Champions League. And thank you so much for being with us. Dear viewers, by this, we wrap up today's episode of The Breakfast Show. You were in the company of myself, Karim Gamaluddin, and my colleague Dina Hussein. Until we meet again, this